We'll ask you please identify yourself. Stay on the front row.
Rod Walker from the Times-Picayune here in New Orleans. Marcus, can you and James Franklin are kind of making history here. Can you kind of just put in perspective what it means to you to be, one of two black coaches in this playoffs?
Yeah, it's again, you're very grateful. It's a reminder that you are a representation for many others, and many of our players that look the same way I do. That your color shouldn't matter, right? And that the evidence of your work should. But it takes everybody, and that's what I continue to remind myself. When people will try to point the finger at you, it's a great reminder of you're not in this position without everybody, without all these guys. And that's why I told him in the locker room I couldn't get off that stage fast enough, because everybody couldn't be up there. It's about the team. It's about everybody that puts everything they have into making sure that we can achieve that success. And so it's a great honor. It's a privilege. But again, as the head coach of this place, I understand we're not in this position unless everybody in this program gets their job done.
This was a really solid answer from Notre Dame head coach Marcus Freeman. Now, what I want everyone to understand is media literacy and accountability. On Twitter, Ross Dellenger, who, by the way, let me just be clear. He is a very good writer. He is a very good journalist for Yahoo Sports. He just had a miss. Okay? He just had a miss. So here's what happened. He tweeted Marcus Freeman after the Sugar Bowl about being one of two black coaches competing in the Orange Bowl semifinal. Quote, your color shouldn't matter. Your evidence of your work should. So he was immediately corrected by Chancellor Johnson of KPRC2 Houston, who wrote, this is extremely bad journalism by Ross, completely taking out of context what Marcus Freeman actually said, where he did in fact acknowledge the significance. Here was the actual quote, which included Freeman's full response, which we played at the beginning of this video. TYT contributor Chris Williamson even saw it and replied, appreciate you for posting more context, because I was like, that can't be his only thoughts on that matter. And obviously it was not. To which Johnson replied to Chris, the way he, as in Ross, framed that quote completely misrepresented what he said, and now it's blowing up. It's not on accident. That's the only portion of the quote he decided to tweet out. Williamson one more time. Yeah, after seeing the clip, it was clear he wanted to paint a false narrative about Freeman. More on that in a second. I have a new show coming out, The Rick Strom Show. So go to youtube.com/@TheRickStromShow. Subscribe. It is completely free. I'll be interviewing athletes, musicians, sports doctors, journalists, authors. It's going to be fantastic. So go check it out. Inside Zone's Matt Fortuna spread the first tweet on the significance of the moment, with Penn State, as in head coach James Franklin, and Notre Dame, head coach Marcus Freeman, squaring off at the college football playoff semifinals in the Orange Bowl. There is guaranteed to be a black head coach in the FBS National Championship game for the first time ever, he would type. From the Griot, obviously, when they face off in their semifinal match, it won't be the first time two black coaches meet in a college football game. However, when the game clock reaches 0 at the Orange Bowl and either Penn State or Notre Dame is victorious, either Coach Freeman or Coach Franklin will be the first black head coach to lead a team in the FBS title game. The writer, Panama Jackson, continues, that's a wild stat in 2025, but it is true. And frankly, it's ridiculous, especially compared to the amount of players who are black. But this isn't a new story or a surprising one. Really, the conversation around the lack of black head coaches in both college football and the NFL is ongoing. The fact that history is still being made in certain corners of the athletic world is crazy. But there are still doors that need opening. With that said, come January 9th, either Marcus Freeman or James Franklin will march on toward history. Meanwhile, there is a quote that resurfaced recently, and I believe this is via ABC 27. of James Franklin when he was being interviewed by HBO in 2019. Here's what he said. I don't usually talk about this publicly, but my goal is to be the first African-American football coach to win a college national championship. That's something that's very historic. The outlet also notes Penn State last saw the Orange Bowl in 2006. The winner faces either Ohio State or Texas. Let me say something. All right. I agree with Panama Jackson because that was my reaction as well. How is history still being made and we're in 2025? It's good that it's being made, but it seems that it is basically a cause and effect of how long black folks have been pushed to the side, that they haven't been given the opportunity to coach different schools, different ball clubs, and take them to the next level of what we are seeing right now as the college football playoff has expanded. And I believe it's only going to expand. And there's also some work to be done when it comes to first round buys and how really the teams with first round buys maybe did not even get a taste of not just home field advantage, but an advantage overall. But this is a byproduct of how bigoted and racist of a society the United States has been. I saw a tweet a few days ago that showed the Florida Gators, I believe it was the Florida Gators, had the, and we'll make sure to put it in post, had the Confederate flag on their helmets. How long it took for black folks just to get admitted into these schools. And then USC putting a beating on Alabama, which opened the doors with Red Bryant and others, even though, we know about their histories. The other part of this that really troubles me is that I really like Ross Dellenger, and it's not to pick on him, but he's the reason that we're talking about this with, misrepresenting a quote. It shows that there was a lack of care in that initial tweet because he has a lot of followers. And it paints Marcus Freeman in a certain light, which, speculating here a little, maybe that's the light that Dellenger wanted him to be seen in because that's how he saw it. When he left out a lot of context there, man, he really, really did. And it's troublesome. Because then it's sort of like the Michelle Tafoya thing. Like, yeah, she was on the sidelines, but then the way that she talked about certain athletes post-reporting days leads me to believe, what else didn't you include in those reports? What else did you leave out from us? Those are questions that I have, and I'm sure many others do as well. Here's the very last point, because I love the college football playoff. And I'm no Notre Dame fan. I am a Notre Dame hater. But has Marcus Freeman made them somewhat likable? I've been following sports for a really long time. And being from the Chicagoland area, we see the ridiculous biases that many outlets have. They put pro Notre Dame writers at certain newspapers, certain hosts in different positions to really just brown-nose Notre Dame. And yet this team just feels kind of different. It really, really does. So you tell me, has Marcus Freeman made them more likable, or are they still the Notre Dame that you love to hate?
If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.